Chapter 11. Insecure and Insecurities. I find the words of Casting Crowns in the song Stained Grass Masquerades useful in exposing insecurities that we all have deep in our hearts. The words say in this song, "Is there anyone that fails? Is there anyone that falls? Or am I the only one in church today feeling so small? Cause when I take a look around, everybody seems so strong. I know they will soon discover that I don't belong. So I tuck it all away like everything's okay. If I make them all believe it, maybe I'll believe it too. So with a painted grin, I play the part again, so everyone will see me the way I see them." The singer goes further and asks whether we are happy plastic people with walls around our weaknesses and smiles to hide our pain. I believe most of us can identify with the situation painted by Casting Crowns. I used to hear people talk about what they feel insecure about, or their insecurities, and I never thought that this is something majority of us go through. What is to be insecure? It is living in ignorance of your own value and of what you may call flaws or something you just don't like about yourself. This insecurity makes you give discounts to others because you don't know your actual value. Over the years, I have realized that although I may not be in a position to change what I do not like about myself, I can surely change within how I think about what I don't like, work with it, and uplift others. You may not realize that someone has higher insecurities than you do, and at the same time, someone else always loves those flaws you call ugly. At least God does. He created us even with that flaw which some people may call awkward, but He did it for a reason. Is it biblical to have weaknesses that God may not take away from us? Yes, God has the power to, but out of His divine wisdom, He lets us live with them but still creates a way to our destiny. When Moses told God not to send him to Pharaoh because he was a stutterer, did God make him eloquent? No. Instead, God asked him, "Who gave man his mouth? Who makes him deaf or mute?" Exodus chapter 4, verse 11. He still sent him and provided Aaron, Moses' brother, to be the spokesman. God instructed Moses to speak to Aaron and put words in his mouth. Exodus chapter 4, verse 15. Now to me, being insecure means one does not know their value. Often in designer shops, you may find a garment and compare it to a similar garment elsewhere. The difference may not be the material, but the price. The value of that clothing means much more for it to be so expensive compared to the regular shop because of a brand or someone's name. With all your weaknesses, you may not think you have value, but I am creating something new. There it is. Do you see it? Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. Insecurities cause us to create our own storms of always thinking about what people will say about us. It is stated that in our 20s, we are thinking of what people are thinking about us. At 40s, we don't care what they think about us. And at 60s, we discover they have not been thinking about us at all. These self-created storms inhibit us from venturing into anything meaningful because we are afraid of failure and people. We often make wrong decisions because we have falsely convinced ourselves that we do not have any other option. Have you ever been in a relationship you knew you should not be in, but because you are insecure and worried that no one will take your flaws and love you unconditionally, you settle for less than you should have? My insecurities got the best of me. I now realize the past mistakes, wrong friendship and relationship we are not meant to be. However, since I did not value myself enough and always cared much more about what others would say, I went on ahead anyway. With this insecurity created, I became a shy character around those I thought would judge me. I also camouflaged to those who would have offered to help me because I was trying hard to deny that I was insecure. and still trying to define my gift as well as destiny. I also felt that I needed to have my life all together, being a PK, pastor's kid, as well as a girl child. It felt like it was me versus the world. The world had nothing to offer. Me and people in the world also were not as welcoming or helpful as those who were in the world, although those of the world may not be the best to help you grow. Ironically, around those I knew, I didn't mind. I was loud and felt I was being me. Don't be afraid to be who you are, because those that mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Dr. Seals. Insecurities often cause us to make decisions based on fear. I've never displayed my relationships publicly. I know you may be wondering who I have dated, but for now, let us briefly talk about how insecurities drive us into making wrong love decisions. I believe we have all heard the statement, you have to kiss 1,000 frogs before you finally kiss your prince or princess. Though deceptive, this statement has become common, especially in justifying reckless living in matters of relationships. Just like the fairy tale, I planned to kiss 1,000 frogs to get to my prince. I comforted myself that it was okay to gamble with your heart until you find the right person. Besides, if you don't try, how will you know? This is one of the modern day classic deception. It is like testing the depth of the sea to see where you will drown in love and float with security. Unfortunately, just like a car in use, the value of this flow kisser depreciates. That's why this approach is not for me. Are you for it? I picture my heart as a precious padlock that protects my inner beauty and treasure. I gaze through the keyhole of my heart. All I see is genius capacity. It surpasses human thought. Well, I imagine my heart with the keyhole and say the right key has not yet reached to open the lock, and I cannot risk entering burglars around me. Your heart is your greatest possession. Many can observe, a few can afford it. Many broken items can be repaired, but the value of a broken repaired item cannot equal to a well-preserved one. Do we have anyone who repairs broken hearts? Yes, God does. So do we keep on risking while kissing 1,000 frogs because His grace abounds? No, we cannot take His grace for granted and keep on sinning. Kissing 1,000 frogs to get to one prince is a lot of time and energy wasted. I don't know about you, but I will wait for my prince. The best thing I know, princes don't just exist in a fairy tale. They are human too. These are the words I told myself as a young girl then. Previously, I touched on knowing your value so that you don't give frogs or people discounts. I realized that the more time I spent alone and through the test of fire, the more my value increased. I became less afraid of moving slowly in life, but more worried of stagnating. As a known speaker said, yes, I may be slow, but I don't walk backward. Besides, if your heart is expensive, you are guaranteed to be worn by a precious key.